In Movies and Money today, our film critic Erik Childress has a lot to get to, starting with Pete's Dragon.
Elliot.
This is sort of the movie that a lot of people sort of expected the BFG to be earlier this summer that Spielberg was behind, and this is sort of the really big, heartwarming family story that people have been looking for all summer.
It's a remake. Does it live up to what people are expecting?
Well, the remake, the 1977 film, is not exactly considered a Disney classic in a way. It's not really considered one of the great Disney, you know, it's a film that blended live action and animation, and that was sort of a thing at the time, but it's not really considered a very good film. So this movie really had nowhere to go but up, but apparently it flew to even greater heights than that.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Erik has a movie he cannot wait to talk about. It's SausageParty.
You're saying is true. I gotta tell everyone.
Very noble little sausage, but also very pointless.
Yes, and I saw a work-in-progress print of this at the South by Southwest Film Festival where it premiered back in March, and it's been, you know, I've been able to talk about this movie since, but now it's out in theaters, and I can't wait for people to go see it. I think it's one of the funniest films of the year, one of the sharpest films.
You called it brilliant.
I do call it brilliant, and it's funny that a lot of theaters, because this is an R-rated animated film, and I think a lot of people are going to be looking at it this weekend because this is one of those films that, if it does really well, as it's actually expected to be, it could be one of these groundbreaking things where people start realizing that animation can be for adults too.
Well, here's a movie that I actually might see. It's FLORENCEFOSTERJENKINS.
Nervous, Whitey.
Oh, don't be.
Are you nervous, Mr. McMullen?
Somewhat. You have a full and very warm house, and you are both going to be sensational. Ready?
Yes.
And you actually could see this movie if you don't get out to see the Meryl Streep movie. There actually is a European film called Marguerite that this film is a remake of, and it's based on this true story of this really dedicated but very awful singer who went on the stage and had to be coached, and coached not very well, to be a presence on the stage. And when you see the movie, you'll see that, you know, things didn't exactly take very well. But Meryl Streep movies in August, is Julie and Julia many years ago, did very well. I don't know if it's going to do that kind of money, but with all the movies that are opening this weekend, it's going to be interesting to see how Suicide Squad does, and I think this is sort of the last really interesting weekend of the summer. The next couple weekends, going through Labor Day up until Clint Eastwood's Sully comes out on September 9th, you're really looking at sort of your high 20 million, high 30 million type films. You're not going to see a lot of blockbusters after this weekend. I think this weekend are the last chances for the summer to have some really good hits.
There's also a spy thriller in limited release coming out this weekend.
Yes, a movie called ANTHROPOID that's based on a true story of a Czechoslovakian spy thriller about a group of resistance fighters who were sent in to kill Hitler's third in command. It's a solid spy thriller, has a fantastic shootout at the end. It's opening a limited release. It's going to expand soon enough, and so that's worth checking out as well.
I have to mention at this juncture that our editor and our cameraman both went to see Suicide Squad and hated it.
Well, you know, I tried to warn everyone last week, and you know, the good news about Suicide Squad was that it did have the highest August opening, as we expected it to do. But the good news pretty much ended on Friday, because if you look at the numbers going forward, from Friday to Saturday, it had the fourth biggest dip that a film that has opened over 100 million has ever had. 40.5% it dropped from Friday to Saturday. And then on Saturday to Sunday, the combined grosses of those 2 days was only 6% higher than its opening on Friday. That's the seventh worst opening for a film over $100 million. And if you look at the films that are in that 1 to 6 range above it, 5 of the 6 of them dropped over 69% in their second weekend. And I think that's what you're going to see Suicide Squad do. If it does the average, it's going to be somewhere around 42 million, which might be enough to still take the #1 slot, but the diminishing returns are going to be there. I don't think this movie is going to make 300 million in the U.S. All signs point to it not. And if it doesn't do that, it's not going to be opening in China because of the violence. It's been banned in China, and that's going to cut into its overseas grosses, and you're not going to see this movie probably make the 750 million that people are reporting that it needs to break even.
Sounds like a nosedive.
Yeah, this is a bad thing for DC. We talked about the good vibes they had last week. Your editor is clearly going to be one of the many people spreading bad vibes about this. People are writing stories about what a disaster this movie is. You know, DC is sort of turning into the Bernie Madoff of the cinematic universe. And
taking the money.
They're taking the money.
And the time.
And until people realize that they're being conned, they're going to continue to make money. But we're going to see how this goes moving forward.
Thank you, Erik.
Thank you.